Hey, remember this? Well, let's meet some of the guys from my new region. The Emosa region is my 4th generation of fakemon within a series I like to call the KyephaDex. That's D-E-X, by the way, I have an accent, get over it. Now, I know a lot of you didn't know who I was when the first 3 generations were released, so if you're interested, you can check them out on the official KyephaFakemon Wiki, which is linked in the description below. But now that you're here, I'm super excited to show you all the creation of 3 brand new fakemon coming to my next generation. Also, while you're here, why don't you subscribe to my channel? That way you won't miss when the full KyephaDex releases. Whenever I make new fakemon for my KyephaDexes, I always plan them out before getting straight into the artwork or any kind of sketch. For this fakemon, I have noted that it will be a bug electric type and it will be a fuzzy bumblebee. Amazing. I'm very aware of the existence of Cutiefly and Rabombi, and whilst this little line will be different to those two, they'll also share some similarities. Now, I am referencing a bumblebee close-up photo, but out of respect for those of you who do not like looking at close-up photos of bugs, I am not showing it on screen like I normally would. What can I say? I'm just in a good mood today. I drew in the head and then I did a light circle around the body so that I had some kind of basic shape to stick to while drawing in the actual fuzz. If I didn't have a guide, I would be all over the place. I was thinking of it being kind of like an Eldegoss fuzz, but that doesn't really scream electric type to me, so I went for this bomb looking stuff instead. It's looking pretty good. Now for the legs. They don't need to be super complex. The only real thing I'm making sure to include are some little balls of pollen on the tops because it is a bee and I hear bees like to collect such things. The body doesn't need to be visible. In fact, I'm avoiding showing it altogether because otherwise I think it would take away from the character of its fuzz. The wings are nice and simple with a little design in the center. It kind of makes it look like a sycamore seed, but please do not pluck its wings off just so you can drop them and watch as they spin to the ground like a helicopter. I mean, it probably would do that, but no, please do not experiment on the bee. I really want this design to read as a bit more natural, so the colors are your typical bee colors, but with a more pale yellow so as to allude to its electric typing. I also lightened the blue on its body to be more of a slate color. I think it complements the fuzz nicely and helps with the contrast between the body and the fuzzy stripes. Now, I'm not really convinced of its head shape, more specifically its nose/mouth/trunk. It's looking more like a mosquito or a housefly rather than a bee, which has a mandible, not a, I don't know what it's called. Let me search it up real quick. Proboscis, apparently. Anyways, I gave it a polite smile instead. Now for its evolved form, which will be a bit more of a development on the base form, but not a huge departure. Even though I don't want it to evolve or mega evolve now, with some fakemon, I just get the feeling that I might want to revisit their line in a few years when I have a bit more skill or a clearer understanding of their design. It's kind of hard to explain because say I want to evolve something, why not do it right now? Well, let's say I evolve this again today. Well, that design might not be as good as if I made it in a future generation with a fresh mindset and more developed skills. Right now, a 2-stage line satisfies me and I may or may not return to it in the future. Also, an evolution might just suit a different region rather than the Emosa region. Who knows? Anyways, this bee kind of freaky. At first, I went for this like undershot kind of thing. I don't know, it's weird. The fuzz almost appears to be spinning behind it, which kind of makes it look goofy or very cute, but I think goofy. I did try another way of drawing in the fuzz, but I think what's ultimately throwing me off is the body. The first stage doesn't have a body visible because the fur is supposed to be the main focal point, and I thought having its belly visible for the evolution would be like a good way to show it being a bit bigger and more evolved, but I was wrong. So we try again. My final attempt of this body shape reads pretty much the same as its pre-evolve form, and I'm perfectly happy with it. I also think it being very weirdly wide kind of helps it look more evolved too, but just to be sure, I'm also going to make its eyes a different color so that it's sure not to be confused with the little baby version. Okay, now it is time for Fakemon 3. This one is a special Fakemon. It's going to be based on the Vilagfa, which is the Hungarian interpretation of the world tree. You might know about this tree if you're familiar with a certain Pokemon X and Y, and ZA, I guess. Is it unoriginal? original if I base my world tree Pokemon on a deer? Well, yes. Does it matter to me? Well, no, not really. See, my creature is a bit different. Not only is it not going around blessing all the forests with life and aura, but it's also not a legendary and it's not going to be shaped like an X. The Emosa region legendaries are still a secret for now, but this guy is as close as they come. Think of this as being like the Ceruledge or Armarouge of this KyephaDex, in that you at first think they're legendaries, but it turns out they're just regular Pokemon with a slightly interesting design. Drawing deer has never been my strong suit. I had a hissy fit when I had to draw a Sawsbuck in the middle of an art lock, but I am nothing if not brave. So I shall buck up and draw a buck. Or a doe. I mean, she could be a lady for all we know. This deer will have 3 antlers, one with the sun and the other with the moon. The antler in the middle will also have a golden fruit that it bears. This fruit is a reference to some adaptations of the Hungarian folklore in which the branches of the world tree bears golden apples. When I initially announced the Emosa region, some of you were curious as to why this region is inspired by Hungary. Well, fun Kyepha fact of the day. I am Hungarian, but I've lived in New Zealand my whole life, so it's not like as fun of a fact as I would hope it to be. But still a fun lore drop nonetheless. There's no other way to describe these eyes other than this is what it looks like when SpongeBob can't breathe water in Sandy's tree dome. Like this. Like, you know what I mean? The last thing I did before putting in color was give it these sick body markings. These will help me give it a nice duotoned look, which is what I'm aiming for. It's going to be a fairy ground type, so I'm using a blend of earth tones with a muted pink. The duotoned look is nice, but it confuses the perspective of the body, I think. It makes it hard to tell where the belly begins and ends, so I'm just gonna fix that up real quick. The hooves also have a Spectria sort of look to them, except it's not ghostly energy, it's fairy energy. Make of that what you will. Rightio, I think it is time to take a look at the final artwork for some brand new Emosa region discoveries. First up, it is Buzzy, the Bumble Pokemon, and a bug electric type. It has the abilities Swarm and Static, and evolves into Buzzwell starting at level 28. Their wings are too small to support their whole body, so they must use the wind to fly around. It has no peripheral vision and can't move its head around, so Buzzy can only see straight ahead. And flying into the storm, it is Buzzwell, the Thunderstorm Pokemon, and a bug electric type. If Buzzy had Swarm, then when it evolves, it will have Lightning Rod. Buzzwell gets most of its nutrients from electricity. When there is a storm, expect to see glowing swarms flying in the clouds. Never go outside in the rain if you live near a colony of Buzzwell. They fly into the clouds, eat lightning, and release it into the rain. Next, it is Valier, the fruit bearer Pokemon, and a fairy ground type. It has a brand new ability called Windbreaker, which makes it completely immune to flying type moves. It spends its entire life cultivating a shining fruit so that, when it passes, it can store its soul into the fruit and live on. When Lanier and Rallier fight, Valier will show itself and release a pulse that nullifies their power and forces them to retreat. And for those of you who haven't seen the secret Valentine's Day Fakemon, here is Podoporom, the dotted worm Pokemon, and a bug type. It has the abilities Liquid Ooze and Run Away. It evolves starting at level 10, but you'll have to wait to see its evolutions. It tastes disgusting, which causes predators to regurgitate, should they attempt to eat it. Podoporom cannot fight. When it is threatened, it will curl into a ball and burrow into the ground. So, those are the latest additions to the Emosa Dex. The wiki has also been updated with all of these new discoveries, so you can go and check them out using the link in the description below. I hope you like them. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every single Fakemon Friday or Saturday if you live in Mirage Island, just like me. And of course, a huge Kusunum Sepan to all of our channel members. That's all the Hungarian I know. I hope you truly cherish it. The Emosa region will be fully revealed at the end of this year. But until then, I will announce a date later on and perhaps reveal a few more guys along the way. Okay, Buzzy, bye!